Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is Standard Costing Additional Problems, Direct Labor Variances. So my name is Bennett Tchaikovsky, also known as the accounting professor, right over here, at least on YouTube. My disclaimer and copyright notice: the information and opinions in this presentation are those of myself and not my employers or affiliated organizations, including but not limited to Irvine Valley College and the South Orange County Community College District. This presentation is for educational purposes only and does not constitute any legal or accounting advice whatsoever. This presentation is copyright 2008 to 2023 by Bennett Tchaikovsky. All rights are reserved. Any distribution is strictly prohibited. So before we say thank you for watching, let's go through and take a look at the question we're going to be going through and doing today. So this is an additional question involving direct labor variances. So let's take a look at this over here. FSI manufactures t-shirts and custom apparel to make one shirt. FSI has developed a standard of 0.25 hours of direct labor at a standard rate of $25 per hour. During the month of October, we produced 200,000 shirts that took 55,000 hours of direct labor at a total cost of $1,347,500. Based on the above, what is the total labor variance, rate variance, and efficiency variance? Indicate whether the variances are going to be favorable or unfavorable. Okay, so I'm just going to borrow a little bit from over here. So my actual labor cost and my standard labor cost. Okay. When I go through and do these questions, the first thing that I want to do is to say how much, and in terms of the breakdown, like what did I go through and spend on labor? So we actually know what that is. We have our actual hours times my actual rate, right? So actual hours. AR is our actual rate, okay? So I could think here of Alfred Hitchcock, but that's going to really date me in terms of the references, but we'll figure something out eventually. So this is going to be the total amount I went through and spent on my labor. The thing I want to be going through and doing is I want to compare this to what I should have spent on my labor, which is my standard hours over here. And this is going to be my standard rate. Okay. So right over here, my actual hours, right, tells me right over here, during the month, I produced 200,000 shirts that took 55,000 hours. That's my actual hours at a total cost of $1,347,500. Okay. So what this means is right over here. Well, if the actual hours times the actual rate gives me 1,347,500, that means that 1,347,500 divided by 55,000, this is going to give me roughly $24.50 per hour. Okay, so this is what I actually spent on my labor. Now we need to compare this. We have to say to ourselves, what should we have spent? Well, we made 200,000 shirts. We should have spent 0.25 hours per shirt, right? So over here, we made 200,000 shirts. So my standard is, how many hours should I have used? To make one shirt, FSI has developed a standard of 0.25 hours of direct labor. So over here, this is going to be 200,000 times 0.25, or a total of 50,000 right over here. Now, my standard rate per hour, it tells me here, it is $25 per hour. So this should have cost me to go through and make, this basically should have cost me $1,250,000. So right away, first thing we always want to go through and do is what is our total direct labor variance. So our total direct labor variance is basically going to be my actual hours times the actual rate minus the standard hours times the standard rate. Now, by the way, I spent a lot more than what I had budgeted. So I know it is going to be unfavorable, right? I spent 1,347,000. I should have only spent 1,250,000. So this over here. So this is going to be an unfavorable total direct labor variance. Okay, so it's the first thing I want to do. And the reason why is because when I add up these two here, it's got to equal to this. Now I'm going to put in my middle value. My middle value is going to be the actual hours times the standard rate, kind of similar to what we did with Aquaman and Spider-Man, except now we've got, I don't know, Alfred Hitchcock and Stingray. I don't know. But we've got over here AH times SR. I'm sure I'm going to get some great ones in the comments for this. Okay, so I've got AH at 55,000. My standard rate is at 25. So my middle value is going to be 1,375,000 and change. Okay, or 1,375,000. Okay, so my direct labor rate variance. Okay, I'm going to come right over here. Right? This is my rate variance. Why is this the rate variance when I compare these two values? Because I am leaving the actual hours constant. So here I've got actual hours times my actual rate minus my actual hours times my standard rate, or 1,347,500 minus 1,375,000. Now I spent less per hour than what I should have spent. So when I look at this over here, 1,347,000 minus 1,375,000, I get a negative 27,500. This is going to be a favorable rate. So this is going to be a favorable direct labor rate variance, right? So right over here, this is what I have over here. Now, I know that whatever I have over here for my quantity variance, when I add that up to the negative 27.5, it's going to have to equal 97.5. So without even doing any kind of math, if I look at this here, more than likely, my direct labor efficiency variance is going to be 120, or it's going to be 125,000. But let's go through and just make sure. So what I'm now going to go through and do over here, because right over here in the materials, we call this a quantity variance. But over here, because we're talking about the hours being worked, we're going to refer this to as an efficiency variance. So over here, this is my direct labor rate variance. And we'll give ourselves a little bit of room. Over here, my direct labor efficiency variance is going to be right over here. Standard hours, excuse me, actual hours times the standard rate minus the standard hours times the standard rate. So coming right over here, this is going to be 1,375,000 minus 1,250,000. So this over here is going to be 1,375,000 minus 1,250,000. And voila, we got 125,000. How did we figure that out? It's because when I add these two numbers up, it has to equal the total amount of the variance. So right over here, this is going to be an unfavorable. Why is it unfavorable? I actually spent 55,000 hours. I should have only spent 50. So this is going to be an unfavorable direct labor efficiency variance. And again, we know that this is correct because when I add these two up right over here, it's going to equal 97,500. If you watch some of the other videos I have on this topic, which I made a little bit of time ago, I believe I may have gone through and talked about, what are the different causes basically for, what causes direct materials variances, what can cause direct labor variances. So if you're taking my class, might be a very good idea to go through and review this prior to any type of exam, because it sounds like a short answer question I could give you. But in all seriousness, this is how we go through and do these problems. These are questions that I've gone through and have created. I did this today with my class. So in any event, I want to thank you for being with me here today. If you have any comments, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. I look forward to seeing you on future videos. Please remember to like and subscribe. Really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Have a great day.